Hi everybody, and welcome back to Kimbo's Comfort Kitchen, and today we are going to do a twofer, or a two-parter. The first part is how to make a creamy mushroom sauce, and the second part is how to properly cook pork tenderloin medallions. A lot of people overcook them, but the sauce we're going to do first, otherwise the video is just too long. So this is done in French classical style. We're going to layer it. What else? At the beginning, you'll notice on the bottom I forgot to put in the cornstarch as a thickening agent, which I should have included, but I didn't. But I put a little label there. So when you're doing your mise en place, keep in mind that you need to have that cornstarch ready for the sauce before you start thickening it. All right. So let's get cooking, and as I said, at the end of it, we will move on to making the pork tenderloin medallions. So let's take a look at the raw ingredients here. We're going to start with fresh thyme, some rosemary, garlic, shallots, butter, cream, and I've got wine. I'm using a good wine. Well, not super good wine, but something I drink every day. I'm using it's a blend from South Africa called Rudderberg. And you don't use a crappy wine. Usually it's, it makes a big difference. And beef bouillon, which is not homemade. This is from a package. But I know a lot of people don't have time to do that. So I'm just using this from the package. Marsala, and my little secret ingredient, which is black truffle salt. It's absolutely amazing. Fresh ground pepper, and I've got small portobellos, and I've taken the stems out. Let's see if I can do it one-handed or not. There. And just because they have a different consistency. And then regular crimini, which I'm going to wash up. So these are the basic ingredients. I'm now going to finish my mise en place and chop all of this stuff up and be back in a sec. Here we are prepped. We've got the thyme, fresh thyme is chopped, the shallots, the garlic, the crimini mushrooms, the baby portobellos, and the cream is now at room temperature, which is what I want. And so is everything else for that matter. And the shallots. So let's get to it. Okay, so to start, first thing we're going to do is do a wine reduction separately from everything else. Some people like to do the reduction in the sauce itself. I prefer to do it separately, simply because I can measure it more accurately in terms of what I'm reducing it to. So I'm starting with a cup and a quarter of red, and which is equivalent of, say, 300 ml. And what I do, my little trick, is I take a spaghetti, uncooked spaghetti, and I put that in there while it's heating so that I can figure out, and it'll give me the color. And then when I go back to it and it's down by half, I can see how far it's gone down. I'll show you later. Okay, so I brought the wine to a boil, and I'm going to take the pasta stick, raw pasta, and I put it in here. Hold it here for a few seconds, maybe about 10-15 seconds. And what that's going to do is mark the pasta with the depth. And I can now see what the depth of this is now. Now I'm going to break this off and use this as my guide. And as it reduces, then all I have to do is stick the new end in, and I can see if it's measured up against this one. And if it's half, then I know I've got half, 50% reduction. That way I know it's exactly the same thing every time. Next. Okay, so I think my reduction is almost done. So for the purposes of demonstration, I'm going to set this in the wine for a few seconds. Get a color. There we go. And you can see, I hope you can, if you zoom in, you probably can see that it's about half now. So now I know that I've got my wine reduction done, all the alcohol's gone, and we can move forward. Okay, so the next step is I'm going to take some avocado oil and put this into a deep-sided frying pan or saucepan. And I'm not using a saucier's pot because most of you don't have one. Neither do I, for that matter. But this will suffice. I know in a commercial kitchen they would be using a more formal pot. But personally, I like the bigger pan because it has a bigger surface area. So the avocado oil is neutral and has a very high smoke point. So that's what we're going to use right now. And we're going to start with the shallots, because I want these shallots, the pan should be a little bit hotter, but I'm bringing it up to temp right away. It'll take 2 seconds. And what I want to do is start to caramelize these a bit. We're doing the sauce in layers, and as many chefs will tell you, it's all about the layers, and this is the first step. So once this gets going, we'll come right back. Okay, so here we are a couple minutes later, and you can see that the shallots are starting to caramelize a bit. Now I don't want this to be dark brown caramelization, so the way we're going to stop this from happening is very simple. I'm going to add the mushrooms. And the mushrooms, as you know, have a lot of water in them. So this is another stage. It's going to take some time. I'm going to mix these up. And at first you're going to be a little surprised because all of the moisture from the bottom of the pan will be gone because it's all being absorbed like sponges into these shrooms. But I've turned the temperature down to halfway. Okay, 50% heat. And I'm just going to wait, and these mushrooms will start to release all their water. And we'll take a look at this probably another 4 or 5 minutes, and you'll see what it looks like so you get an idea visually of where we can start to go to the next step. Right, I almost forgot. One of the things you can do at this point to help accelerate the moisture absorption is sprinkle salt. Now I'm using black truffle salt, which is spectacular. You don't have to use it, but it's going to be one of those je ne sais quoi things that they're going to taste in the sauce and they're going to go, wow, what the heck is that? It just adds another layer. Alright, so good thing. Okay, so one of the tricks of the trade too is to listen to the pan. When you first start putting the mushrooms in, it's going to be quiet, a little bit, well, there's a little bit of sizzle because of the avocado oil, and then it'll start to be quiet, and then it will start to sizzle a bit more again as the water's being released. And at a certain point, that sizzling will drop again. So there's actually some music happening here. It goes up, goes down, up, and now it's down. And this is where we want this to be at this point. So now we add our herbs or aromatics. And I know it's a lot of garlic, but there's rosemary and thyme in there. But I love garlic. Now you don't have to put as much garlic in as if you don't want, but I love garlic personally. So let's get all this stuff off the side. And now here comes the magic. We already did the reduction on the wine. So we don't have to, some chefs like to do their wine reduction at this point in the sauce itself. Personally, I don't think it's necessary. I like to do it ahead of time because I know exactly, as I mentioned earlier, how much I've done the reduction to. So now we're just going to let this soak in. Same heat, I'm at half heat right now. And we're going to let that soak in for about 2 minutes. So now the next ingredient is the Marsala. And this is what makes it. Between that and the black truffle salt is really what makes this and gives it its unique composition. You're going to be able to taste so many different flavors in this sauce. Oh yeah. Yeah, this is going to be pretty spectacular. And in fact, I'm going to add some of the pepper in now as well. I might adjust the salt ratio because that beef broth that I used earlier had 0 salt in it. And I always try, if I'm buying a store-bought beef broth, that it has 0 salt, because it's hard to take salt out, but it's pretty easy to put it back in again. So again, let this simmer a little bit longer. And then I'm going to add the beef broth now. And we'll bring that up to temp. So this has been going for about 2 minutes. You can see it just simmering. And now I'm going to add a little bit of cream. And you'll see how it transforms immediately. I'm going to turn the heat up just a little bit. And you can start to see the color change. And I want to bring this up to a simmer again. And we're going to let this sit until it's brought to a full simmer. Be back. Okay, so now we're at a good high simmer. Well, medium high simmer. And now I get to add butter. So when you put the butter in, don't just let it sit there because it'll separate. So what you want to do is move it around while it incorporates into the sauce. And this will give it a really nice, another layer or depth to it, because you'll be able to taste the fat. Believe it or not, it sounds gross, but it's true. You'll be able to taste that beautiful creamy butter in the sauce. Now we're almost there. Let's see how that incorporates so nicely. So the only thing we're missing right now, really, is the consistency. And there's different ways of thickening your sauces or gravies, as you know. One is with a roux, and I decided not to use a roux today, but I'm going to use cornstarch, which I apologize I didn't have in the beginning as a list of ingredients, but I will. It'll be on the label underneath, so you will have it there ready for your mise en place. And let's take a sip of this. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's beautiful. That has a lot of depth, a lot of complexity to it. This is going to go well with just about anything that you want to make. In this case, I'm going to make a pork tenderloin as the second part of this particular recipe, and it'll be perfect. So once it reaches a simmer again, you take cold water, make sure it's cold water. If you put hot water in, it'll just lump up, and you mix your cornstarch, which is a great thickening agent. It'll also give the gravy a really beautiful sheen to it. So let's put a little bit in to start. That's about 2 tablespoons. And you want to mix this around, and it takes, you can see right there how quickly it's incorporated and how it thickens it up immediately. It doesn't take long. So you got to make sure you're whisking this around. Now we're starting to see this come to a really beautiful consistency. Do you know what I might do? I think I'm going to add just a little bit more of the black truffle. I really like that depth that it adds to it. Black truffle salt. Here we go. So you can see that was, what, 2 tablespoons maybe? And let's try this again. Oh, that's beautiful. Okay. Yeah, this is a absolutely gorgeous mushroom sauce, done in a French classical style. Turn this on low now, way too high, and I'm just going to let this thicken on its own, and then I'm going to move on to the tenderloin. So stay tuned, and I'll show you how to make a beautiful tenderloin without cooking the crap out of it, like a lot of people do. So that's how to make creamy mushroom sauce. And you don't have to use it with pork, you can use it with any other protein. It goes great with chicken, it's even great with steak. I wouldn't recommend with fish, however. But and if you're a vegetarian, it goes great with potatoes and steamed vegetables just by itself. So the next video in the series is going to be my pork tenderloin medallions, which you can find right here as the immediate connection to it on YouTube. And I hope to see you soon. Okay? Hope you enjoy. Thanks. Bye.